Hello, my name is Jamie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Unlike any other YouTube channel that showcases Pokemon Go PvP content, mine exclusively showcases Shadow Pokemon. So, if you're into that type of content, I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe.
So, let's get into today's video. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at a run of battles that did see me go 30 wins out of 40 battles, giving me a 75% win rate. As we draw towards the end of the season, it's time for me to pick it up, gain some elo and push for legend. So, the team that I'll be using is going to be the GOAT, Shadow Swampert on the lead, running Mudshot, Hydro Cannon and Earthquake. We've got Shadow Snorlax operating as the damage sponge, on the save switch running Lick, Body Slam and Superpower. And we have the star of the show, Shadow Drapion, running Poison, Sting, Crunch and Sludge Bomb. So this team has real solid answers for all the big legendaries, can beat all the common ABB lines, and in this video you're going to see how I manage to deal with all these threats, and this is a team that I do believe will take me to legend. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the battles. We will be leading Shadow Swampert for the duration of the video, and in this first matchup we pick up a neutralish lead against an Empoleon. Obviously these waterfalls do really chunk us down, however we have the ability to one-shot them with Earthquake. We shield up this move, which is going to be a Hydro Cannon, and they actually switch out into Dragon Breath Giratina. So we go straight into our Drapion. Drapion and Snorlax both have decent matchups against Giratina, however, Drapion doesn't have a great matchup against Empoleon. You see here, we can tank these charge moves no problem, and it only takes 2 crunches to take them out. Another charge move coming through, we will survive, so it's now down to the opponent. If they choose to shield this, I'll come in with Snorlax and completely lick down. If they don't shield it, we'll win switch. Either's fine for us. The opponent does shield, so we can wait out our switch timer and bring in Snorlax. We don't have to worry about any of these moves, as Dragon Claw hardly does anything, and obviously Shadow Sneak is going to be resisted. So we look to lick down. They get to one more charge move, which is no problem. Should get us down to around half health. However, we're almost at the back-to-back superpower. So if Empoleon does come back in, we have the ability to one-shot it. Opponents figure out what they want to do, and they bring in Togekiss, which is great for us as we're at the back-to-back Body Slam. First Body Slam does a nice chunk. Second Body Slam is going to start to get them really low. We switch out and we fire off this Hydro Cannon. So now the opponent is going to be forced to shield. They actually let it go down. They're relying on their Empoleon to clutch this game out. However, we are so far ahead in energy. We fire this Hydro Cannon, which does get the shield. One more Mudshot and we're at the Earthquake, and this is going to be enough to take him out in this first matchup. GG's to that opponent. The Empoleon Giratina Togekiss line is really common. So moving on to this next battle, we've got another Empoleon lead. Let's see if it's the same team as before. The opponent is building up a bit of energy, and they are looking to try and catch the Earthquake. However, we don't throw. In comes a Togekiss, so I am now wondering if it is a Giratina in the back. Charge move coming through. They've only got enough energy for either an Aerial Ace or an Ancient Power. We'll tank this, and we'll look to go for the back-to-back Body Slam. Like you saw in the first matchup, we are looking to get shield advantage. However, if we get switched, that's also fine for us. The opponent no shields, and we maintain switch. They come back in with the Empoleon, and we're going to look to try and come in with Swampert and fire off this Hydro Cannon. We get a nice bit of lag. The opponent gets a fast move through. We are going to have to shield up this Hydro Cannon. So we're going to go straight for this Hydro Cannon. We draw the opponent's shield. We build back up for the Earthquake and again go for the Hydro Cannon. We are hoping to draw the opponent's last shield, which we don't. We try and beat him to the next move, however we do CMP tie. I'm expecting Giratina in the back, so I'll shield this up, take out the Empoleon, as I know that Drapion up a shield or down a shield will have no problem taking care of Giratina. I'm spamming the swap, and in the back they've got a Clefable. This isn't quite what we expected, however with Poison Sting we are going to be able to go straight Sludge Bomb, no bait in here. First one grabs the shield, and we're going to outpace him to this second one. The second Sludge Bomb should do huge damage, and that's GG's to that opponent. You can see there with Poison Sting's energy generation, there's no need to bait, straight Sludge Bomb, and we can beat a Fairy even down a shield. So in this next matchup, we pick up a lead against an Articuno. Articuno is quite tough in the lead. It is quite tough for this whole team, as obviously it's super annoying with these debuffs. We go for the Hydro Cannon. The opponent does shield it up. We manage to sneak a Mudshot through. We aren't going to shield. Icy Wind gets us below half health. We're looking to time our charge moves to try and deny the Ice Shard, which unfortunately we're unable to do there. But we should be able to get to one more Hydro. Due to letting the Ice Shard through, we actually aren't going to be able to do it. That's fine though. We are now going to be able to come in and take shield advantage. So we wait out our switch timer and we come in with Drapion. I'm hoping this Sludge Bomb is enough to KO. However, Articuno is quite thick. Unfortunately, it is not enough to KO, so I'm going to have to shield this up and we're going to commit to the Poison Sting down and leave with a lot of energy. You can see there we're at both moves. I'm spamming Snorlax to clear my debuff and the opponent switches out into Cresselia. So this is an alright matchup for our Snorlax. Especially head on energy. We're going to get this first move off before they can potentially debuff us with a Moonblast. And we actually do get the attack fall, which isn't great. However, the licks are still hitting for super effective and we are just going to spam out these body slams. We are outside a Moonblast range. A Future Sight would go close to taking us out. Just a Moonblast, leaves us with a nice bit of health. I do switch out, bank that energy as we were debuffed, and I go straight for a Crunch. Opponent shields this up. And here we are going to match shields. Expecting them to switch out at some stage, which they don't. So we're at the back-to-back move. This first one is going to be enough to take out the Cresselia. And we've got a Crunch ready for this Swampert. This is usually quite a bad matchup, because obviously we are taking super effective from this Mudshot. However, the Swampert is going to have to throw, as they've got far too much health, and we are going to get to another Crunch. So we saved the move there. We do a couple more licks to get them a bit lower and we go straight for this superpower. We go for superpowers that are slightly more than body slam, and that's enough to clutch up this game. GG's to that opponent. So moving on into this next battle, we pick up a lead against the Giratina. This is obviously a common lead. On Dragon Breath, you want to count to 6 and swap to catch the move like we do here. So you want to go 1 over the Hydro Cannon and that is where you'll catch the Dragon Claw. We switch into Snorlax and they meet us with a Talonflame. This Talonflame, surprisingly, is actually running Fire Spin. This has thrown me off as Fire Spin is really uncommon. I'm not even entirely sure on the counts. Using shadows, you do want to be quite up on the counts. Whatever they throw though, I am going to let it go through. We managed to get to this next body slam. This should get the Talonflame quite low unless they want to use a shield. And I do believe they're going to have to throw their energy. They don't throw their energy, they manage to farm us down. So I'm going to shield this move up and I'm going to look to commit to the Mudshot down. An aggressive player's obviously, Mudshot is resisted by a flyer. It's only single resisted due to its fire type, and as flying double resist ground and fire would take super effective. Back in comes the Giratina, we get the last shield and then we have a Drapion. They switch out a Giratina and our Drapion is met by this Stunfisk. Again, this is usually quite a bad matchup, however they haven't built up to the Earthquakes, there's no need for me to shield. These rock slides do add up quite quickly, however these crunches do about the same. This next crunch should get them down to about 33% health, which it does. And the opponent is going to have to throw energy or get hit again. We're going to save the shield. They do throw an Earthquake, so we now know they are dry on energy. So I'm going to try and CMP time on the rock slide, as I don't even want to take a rock slide at this stage as we are getting quite low. Hydro Cannon's going to take them out. And now this Giratina is almost energy dry, so this Earthquake should do a nice chunk of damage. And they should now be in Hydro Cannon range. So Hydro Cannon comes through. I'm hoping this is going to be enough. However, the Giratina isn't at a back-to-back move. They do fire. They don't have a second move, so I'm going to have to shield this up and Mudshot them down for the victory. And that is a GG to that opponent, coming back from a really tough lead. We didn't have alignment in the entire match, we did still win. Moving on into this next battle, we face a lead against a Gramble. Gramble is by far the most oppressive charmer. I am actually going to be posting a video on Shadow Gramble in the coming days. However, getting back into this, we build to 7, we fire off the Hydro Cannon, and we look to switch into Snorlax. Opponent is going to throw a move. We are going to respect the close combat, which they throw, so we correctly shield that, and they come in with a Swampert. This is obviously a losing matchup. Snorlax does lose to Swampert in all even shielding scenarios. However, we are ahead in energy, so we're going to be able to get off these back-to-back body slams. Body slam does a nice chunk. We managed to get the back-to-back without letting a mudshot through. We aren't going to be able to get mudshot down either, so the Swampert is going to have to throw us energy. It's not really worth us shielding. We could shield to maintain switch, but our Snorlax is really low. Instead, we're going to use the remaining health on the Swampert to farm it down and get ourselves back to another Hydro Cannon. The Gramble comes back in. We've got the Hydro Cannon locked and loaded, so we fire it immediately. We draw the opponent's last shield and we instantly swap into Drapion. We're met with a Caesar. This is kind of a neutralist matchup. Our Poison Stings are resisted, whereas the opponent's Bullet Punches do hit us for neutral. However, they are going to have to build up all the way to an Iron Head, as this Night Slash will be resisted. We don't shield this. We're now looking to overfarm. Unfortunately, we are going to have to shield up this next Night Slash. Even resisted, it will take us out. This is where your energy management comes in key. So I build up as much energy as possible. This Crunch takes out the Caesar, and we're now one Poison Sting away from the Sludge Bomb. Poison Sting will register before the Charm does, and we're able to take this match. GG's to that opponent. Drapion there clutching out that game. So, moving on into this next battle, another common lead, Cresselia. Obviously, this is a terrible lead for us, Swampert, as if they are running Grass Knot. We will get one shot. Even if they're not running Grass Knot, they do outbulk us. So, it's not a great matchup. We look to try and switch on 6 to try and catch a Grass Knot. However, opponent doesn't throw us energy, and they hit our Snorlax with a Future Sight. The fact they've shown Future Sight should mean they're running Future Sight Moonblast, so our Swampert is going to be able to tank a move should it be required later. The opponent counter-swats with a Swampert. We hit him with a Body Slam. They throw a Hydro Cannon at us, which isn't enough to take us out, even after tanking that Future Sight, and we manage to get to yet another Body Slam. Opponent, again, is going to be unable to mudshot us down, so they're going to have to throw their energy, which is great for us. And again, now the Swampert is going to be in mudshot down range. We wait out a switch timer. The opponent switches out, as they obviously don't want to get mudshot down. We build up to the back-to-back Hydro Cannons, and we switch into Drapion. Drapion Gyarados again is kind of neutral. These Dragon Breaths and Aqua Tails hit us for neutral, whereas the big move Crunch is going to be resisted. So I expect this to be an Aqua Tail, which it is. Opponent fires off again. We have got 2 shields. However, with Drapion being so low, I know I can survive this, so I'm not going to shield it, and I'm going to get off this Crunch. This Crunch should do decent damage. However, the opponent's shields, they are pretty energy dry, so I now know that Swampert can come in. And with 2 shields, Swampert should be able to close out this game. We're going to be able to reach back-to-back Hydro Cannons, which will be enough to take out the Gyarados before they reach a move. And then we've got a 2 shield to no shield advantage to take care of that Cresselia. We actually get a little bit of Mudshot farm, which is even better for us. I'm going to expect the opponent to try and catch a move at some stage. I'm going to try and throw in the middle of the Psycho Cut animation. However, both Psycho Cut and Mudshot are both 2-turn moves, so unless we get desync, that is going to be quite difficult to do. We fire up this charge move. I'm over farming quite a lot. There is the attempted catch. We mudshot down the Swampert, and the opponent sees the writing on the wall. GG's to that opponent. Moving on into this next battle, we pick up an absolutely dreadful lead against Dragonite. Everything we have got is either single or double resisted. We counter up into Snorlax, and we're met by a counter with Escavalier. Escavalier has a great matchup against Snorlax, but we overfarm. We don't want to debuff ourselves before they throw, so we let them fire off first, and we throw this superpower. We overfarm massively, so perhaps the opponent's lost track of our energy, and we now get to this Body Slam. So the opponent is now forced to shield. Escavalier is now in farm down range. The fact that we are up a shield, I'm going to be able to come in with Swampert, I'm going to be able to shield once and completely mudshot down this Escavalier. As you saw in the opening matchup, Swampert has got a bad matchup against Dragonite, so I need to get as much energy as possible to potentially flip that matchup endgame. I'm spamming the swap. We bring in Drapion, the opponent stays in and fires off a charge move, so perhaps whatever they've got in the back is weak to Drapion. Dragon Claw doesn't do too much. We get a great bit of lag again, and in the back they've got an Empoleon. So the Poison Stings are resisted, however these crunches do hit for a real nice neutral damage. The back-to-back will take them out, so if the opponent doesn't shield, which they do, it would have took them out. They then managed to get the Waterfall down, which isn't great for us. You can see there I'm actually hitting the Hydro Cannon. You might be thinking, why am I Hydro Cannon when it isn't going to take him out? I'm hoping this Hydro Cannon puts him in a range where I can mudshot him down without reaching another charge move. Like I said earlier, I need to get as much energy as possible to try and take out this Dragonite. These Hydro Cannons are going to be resisted. However, a couple of them should be enough to take him out. So first one gets him to about 33% health. The second one almost takes him out. I'm able to mudshot him down. So you see there, by throwing the resisted Hydro Cannon at the Empoleon, I was able to mudshot it down and get the energy required to flip that opening matchup. So moving on into this next game. Again, much like Giratina, Gyarados is exactly the same. Count to 6 and catch the Aqua Tail on Snorlax. The opponent then meets us with a Swampert. You've seen this matchup quite a lot, so I overfarm a bit and go for this first Body Slam. Does a nice chunk to the Swampert. They are going to have to dump their energy before I get to another Body Slam, which is fine. Snorlax, the damage sponge, has done its job, so we're going to be able to wait out a switch timer. And we're going to come back in with Swampert. We overfarm a touch and we fire off this Hydro Cannon just before the opponent gets to a move. So like you saw with the Dragonite, I need to get ahead on energy should this Swampert need to close out this next match. So again I count to 6 and catch another Aqua Tail. So in this game we're running rings around the opponent. Opponent is staying in with Gyarados, so I go straight for this Crunch. This Crunch will do huge damage if left unshielded. The opponent does shield. I am now going to shield this up, as I don't think at that range we would survive another Aqua Tail. So the fact that I only get to one move here, I go for the harder hitting move of Sludge Bomb. The opponent doesn't shield, we manage to take him out, and in the back they've got a Gengar. So this again is where you see that the energy we saved is going to come in clutch. Hydro Cannon gets the shield, and just to be safe we're going to go straight for the Earthquake. This Earthquake is going to be more than enough to one-shot that Gengar, and again we come back from a rough lead. GG's to that opponent. So you can see there that the playstyle is try and build up energy on Swampert and try and waste the opponent's energy. So then even these really bad matchups, Swampert's Hydro Cannon, especially Shadow, is so OP you can flip them. So in this next matchup we pick up a dreadful lead against Kingdra. We fire off the Earthquake, we grab a shield and switch into Snorlax. Opponent fires off the Octazooka, which does debuff us, and then they come in with a Giratina. This is alright for us, as these licks, even debuff, do add up. And we're just going to try and chip them down as much as possible. We go for these Body Slams, which obviously don't do hardly anything. We are just trying to stall out the switch timer. Opponent isn't throwing, so they're obviously looking to commit to the Dragon Breath down. But these licks have managed to get them down to under half health. We save that Snorlax for a sacrificial swap later. And we switch into Drapion. Opponent goes for an Ancient Power, fishing for the boost. And then they look to make a catch of their own. We land this Crunch on a Registeel, which you'd think is a bad matchup. However, with Poison Sting, these Crunches do really add up and we do massively outpace the Regi. Another Crunch lands. We will need 2 more to take him out. Charge move coming through as we're up a shield. I will commit 1 shield here, as I know I'll be able to get it either back on the Registeel or they're going to have to let the Regi go down. We build up to the back-to-back Crunch. And you can see there my switch timer has come back up. So with this in mind, I look to catch the next move, which we do successfully on Snorlax. So that's a nice 70 energy there wasted from the Flash Cannon. However, I have gave up switch advantage. So I come back in with Drapion. I expect to switch out. Back in comes the Kingdra. So I'm hoping this Sludge Bomb is enough to take him out. However, Kingdra is quite bulky. However, it does enough, so they have to waste their energy again. Octazooka takes us out, and Swampert is going to have to come in and mudshot him down. Back in comes Giratina. We will commit our last shield here, and look to get off this Earthquake. We get a nice bit of lag, you love to see it. Earthquake will be enough to take out this Giratina though. And the fact that the Regi wasted his energy on Snorlax, we're going to outpace him to this Hydro Cannon. And Hydro Cannon will be enough to take the game. So GG's to that opponent. We faced really rough alignment there, but you can see the power of Shadow Pokemon prevailing once again. So moving on into this next battle, we pick up a neutralish lead against Umbreon. It is actually a winning matchup if you can correctly time your charge moves to not allow any extra snarls through. So the opponent fires straight away. You can see these foul plays, they will need probably 3 to take us out. However, with the snarl damage, it's probably just 2 as we are quite squishy. We fire back with this Hydro Cannon. Opponent fires off again. We would survive this. However, I am going to commit a shield as we've got loads of energy. We overfarm a lot. The opponent is now 2 snarls away from their next foul play. So we drew all the shield here. And we beat them to this Earthquake. So the opponent is now going to be forced to double shield if they want to maintain switch. We actually managed to mudshot down just to get into the next foul play, and we have now got a bit of residual energy for whatever comes in. The opponent meets with a Charizard, which is really strange. Charizard isn't a Swampert counter. They don't even shield the Hydro Cannon. It almost one-shots them. Gets them that low that they're forced to dump their energy. They fire off the Dragon Claw. We come in with Drapion, and in the back they've got a Talonflame. So they were running Umbreon, Double Fire. More commonly used as the Obstagoon Double Fire, but it's the same concept. Charge move is going to come through. This Talonflame is going to be looking to boost his attack. We don't shield. We now switch out into our Snorlax. The Talonflame is now almost out of health, so they probably should have shielded something. They are going to have to Brave Bird us to take us out, which they do. And now Drapion is going to be able to Poison Sting down everything and take the match. So GG's to that opponent. So moving on into the last battle of the video. We pick up another dreadful lead against Cresselia. Like I've said earlier, you always count to 6 to try and catch the Grass Knot. We do successfully catch the Grass Knot here, and we're met with a Registeel. This is an alright matchup if we was at full health. The fact that we've been chipped down with a Grass Knot, we are going to be unable to survive a Focus Blast, so go straight for the Superpower. And we're going to let the Snorlax go down as it's done its job as the Damage Sponge. We wait out a switch timer and we're going to come back in with Swampert. I always count to just before they get to the Focus Blast, and this Hydro Cannon should be enough to KO. However, this Reggie's obviously massively excel as we're unable to KO and unable to Mudshot down. I expect this to be a Focus Blast, however I'm not going to shield. If you see Crest in the lead with Reggie Say Swap, you know it's Giratina in the back. Here is the Giratina. I've played this team many times. This is a safe bait as they always try and shield the Earthquake. So I bait them with a Hydro Cannon. Not that I like baiting. And we switch out into our Drapion. Opponent goes for a Dragon Claw. They are staying in. Drapion up shields is going to be able to clutch out this game. First crunch comes through and does massive damage. Opponent switches back out into Cresselia. They exited when they had no energy whatsoever. So we fire off this crunch. Opponent only builds to 6. Even though I'm deep in the yellow, I refuse to shield a non-stab Grass Knot. You can see we are getting quite low. However, we're at the back-to-back crunch. So we're going to have one crunch for this Cresselia, which takes it out. And we're going to have a crunch for this Giratina in the back. This crunch will grab the shield as it will take him out. And we're going to instantly swap into our Swampert. And we are going to Earthquake him. So you can see there, we didn't have alignment throughout the whole match, but we was able to predict the team comp. Obviously great energy management and good knowledge of fast move counts. We're able to 2-shield flex that triple legendary team. So if you managed to watch all the way through the video, I'd like to say a massive thank you. If you're new to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you smash that subscribe button. And this is a team that I would recommend. It's a really nice anti-meta team. You don't necessarily have to run them all as shadows. However, it is obviously great fun. It's fantastic being able to 2-shot both Cresselia and Giratina with a Shadow Drapion. Obviously, if you're using a non-shadow, you won't be able to do that. Much like the Alola Muck matchup, you will need 3. So I would recommend at least the Shadow for Drapion. And I'd like to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.